What's good, everybody? It's about that time. Saturday time, make another video. Been having a lot of ideas. Uh, just hard to get them down. But this one is one I think that people need to hear. And this one is just about not being scared. Not being scared to talk about what it is that you're going through. Not being scared to, oddly enough, act on some of those sexual urges that you may or may not be feeling. So that's the theme today, is not letting fear dictate your life, not letting fear dictate your choices. First and foremost, if you feel like you really have a problem, like you're really struggling, go, ask for help, get some help. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of resources out there. You might not be able to see anybody right now, but there's a lot of ways you can do it online. I'm doing that myself. If you want to talk to me, you can reach out to me and we could set something up. It's hard to do this alone. I didn't do it alone. It's hard to get through this alone, and just forget about the stigma. Forget about, oh, you're embarrassed and you're ashamed. And sure, it is something that is rather shameful, but so what? You can't let that get in between you and getting yourself well, getting to the point where you can be someone that you're proud of again, someone that you can look in the mirror and be happy to see that reflection looking back at you. That's what this is about. So don't be afraid. Look at me. I'm out here putting my face on it. You don't have to do the same, but at least if you need some help, get some help. Like I said, there's a lot of resources out there. If you want to just have like a little community, you got NoFap. You have the Discord that I'm setting up, trying to get more and more people in there, just so we can talk. It doesn't even have to be about like porn related stuff. It could just be if you need someone to talk to about regular shit. We play games and stuff all the time. So if you want to get in there, the links in all the videos, most of them. You have to look at yourself as someone that is worth saving, someone that's worth investing time into. And just like if your car has issues, you're going to go to a mechanic. If your mind, if your brain, if your body has issues, go to the corresponding professional to sort it out. But you have to value yourself first in order to do that. You have to look and know that you are something worth caring for. This is all what it's about, saving the self. Now, the other part about not being scared has to do with a lot of the times, at least I found on my journey, the reasons that I was able to get sucked into a lot of these weird, obscure porn fetishes and stuff is because I wasn't honest with myself with what it is that I really liked. Now, we could talk for days whether or not you may have developed a fetish where you want to wear women's panties from watching porn, or whether that was something that was just innate, that was bound to come up regardless. That one, which way, that way, who knows? A good way to find out is to abstain. Don't mess with it for a long time and then see what happens. And that's what I did. I didn't do it for a long time. And I was like, man, I still want to try this. And so the person that I was with, I let them know, like, hey, by the way, and this was a new kind of relationship. I let them know pretty early on, by the way, this is something that I like to do, that I want to do, and how do you feel about that? They were cool with it, and that was that. It's fucking easy. And you know what? When I did that, when we were having sex, and I put that thong on, oh, it felt good, but it wasn't something that was like it kind of lost a bit of its power over me when I did that. When I was like open and honest about it, and that was the whole point of it, right? That's the whole point of it. It's almost like when you're sneaking around and having an affair, you have like that element, that sexiness. We're not supposed to be doing something, but then when you're with that person legitimately, some of that goes away. And in this case, you want it to go away. You want it to go away because you want to get to the point where just having a regular vanilla meaningful, spiritual, sexual connection with somebody is enough, more than enough. That's the best thing. Now, if we want to throw some sprinkles and some nuts and toppings on there from time to time, that's cool. But we have to stop fetishizing these things. In order to stop fetishizing, ironically, you got to be honest with it. You got to embrace it. That's what I did. Okay, that's what I did, and that's what worked out for me. Now, some of y'all might be in long-term relationships, and your partner might be coming at you like, "What the fuck? We've been together 5 years. You're just not telling me this." Different situation, but I would still advise to be honest with yourself. Be honest with them. You know, if you want her to put on a cowboy suit with some size 13 Jordans and give you a spanking when y'all have sex, tell her. Let them know you got to communicate. But if you just keep it in your head, if you keep it locked up, you're not gonna be honest with your partner. And if you're a woman, if you're with a woman, they fucking know. They are intuitive. They know something's off. Okay. You're not gonna be honest with your partner. You're not gonna be honest with yourself, and you're gonna be giving these things more power over you. So when you are alone, when you are by yourself, and you're looking at these things online, it has that power. Just like when you're having an affair, you gotta get it out in the open to put it in its place. And trust when I say, once you do it, once you live it out, it's not gonna be like an all the time, everyday thing. It's gonna lose its novelty. It's gonna lose its allure when it's out there. It's just weird how that works. It's weird how that's just kind of like the way the universe works. You want something, you want something, you want something, you get it, then you're like, oh, this is great. And then you don't want it as much. You just don't want it as much. That's how it is. Maybe, it's definitely some sort of blessing in disguise. You got to be honest with you. You can't be scared. Now, that doesn't mean you got to go out and, tell your whole family that, hey, by the way, I love getting fucked in the ass with a woman wearing a strap on. You don't have to tell everybody that. But you do need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with people that you consider to be a long-term partner or even a short-term partner. You owe it to them and you owe it to yourself so that you can be comfortable in your own skin. I'm kind of like slouching down because I'm in a weird spot. I can't really control the lights in here. I'm trying to get too much over it. Anyways, I just want to say that because I know when I did that, it was very relieving. And I was able to kind of confide in this person, tell them about a lot of stuff that I was into. Now, granted, there's some things that, you might want to, you fetishize that you can't act out on. And you probably shouldn't. Okay, that's the disclaimer. There's some things that you probably shouldn't act out on. If you have some sort of a weird, like a cutting fetish, or I want to, cut a little bit of your arm so you're bleeding. You gotta sort that out because that's not healthy. I'm talking about things that are not really harming. They're not really damaging. You got some sort of like a weird shit eating fetish. Don't indulge that. Don't. Now you can tell somebody. Doesn't mean you can't tell somebody. That doesn't mean you can't get help. Doesn't mean you can't tell your partner, look, hey, this is what I'm going through. I got this weird poo-poo eating thing, and I just need you to be there with me as I'm going through this battle. But you got to have the common sense to know what things you can pursue, what things you shouldn't pursue. Anything that can compromise your health, I would say you probably weren't. That's not something you were born with. That's just something that you picked up along the way. Anything that's hurting, like I'm not talking about her slapping around or choking somebody. I'm talking about like you doing like physical, long-term, or even emotional harm. You gotta be really careful. You gotta be really careful about it. Even if it's something like you like degrading or you like being degraded. It's verbal, but you have to tread lightly with those things because those things can have lasting effects. And that's something that I've definitely like experimented with as well. Going into that whole fantasy of being like called a sissy or being really feminine or submissive. And it was cool to kind of finally be able to live that out with another human being instead of with my phone, like, ooh. But with another human, it was all right. But and it did feel good. But again, it just, when I did that, it was like some of the allure, some of the glamour faded away, and I was happy. And it wasn't something that was done all the time. It was kind of like something that, like a charge that built up over, we do it one time, and a few weeks pass by, and in between that few weeks, let's say we're having sex like 4 or 5 times a week, all right? Then that third week is like, yeah, I want to try that again. You try it again. And the cool thing is that when you're open, when you're honest like this, your partner will feel safe in being open and honest with you. They might tell you, he or she might tell you, oh, wow, well, by the way, I got this thing where I really want to, pretend to be whatever it is, whatever it is. I want to pretend to be a baby, or, who knows? There's so many crazy, weird things out there. Who are we to judge and say what's wrong? Well, I mean, like I said, you still want to be careful around things that will do permanent damage, and um, cutting people up, or really like leaving marks on people, unless it's like a hickey. You gotta be careful with that. Some people might be into that. Some people might ask you to do that. Some people are like, oh yeah, well, you know what? I got a fetish where I want you to eat. I want to eat shit out of your ass, and I might have a fetish where I want someone to eat shit out of my ass. That's two very unhealthy things, and you guys got to be careful, because you you could get some serious. I think the reason I keep thinking about that is I remember when I was like kind of like hit, not necessarily rock bottom, but it was like a wake up call with like the pornography. One of the last things I saw was scrolling through like a BDSM, and then that's what started to pop up. It was like people just like women like shitting, and I was like, what the fuck? Where am I at? Where am I at right now? And I was always thinking, like, man, what comes next after you fall into like this weird sissy cuckold, like, I want to get my dick small thing? Like, what comes after that? Maybe it's the shit stuff. It might be the shit. So I'm just warning you. You can, wherever you're at, you can fall deeper. It can get worse, and it can get more unrealistic to do. But all of that starts with not being afraid, not being worried about the stigma or what other people might think. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised to know how many people are dealing with this. It's an epidemic. It's a fucking epidemic. Okay? And it's a silent one, because people are afraid to talk about it. People are ashamed to talk about it. And that's too bad, because the more people talk about it, the more we can realize that, oh man, I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only one who's fallen to this. I'm not like especially meek or weak, or a beta, or whatever it is, that bullshit that MK Ultra porn shit is telling you. That's not the case. You got to remember, you are a sovereign divine being, and you can't let anything take that from you. All right? The only thing to fear is fear itself, as my man said. So yeah, that was it. It was just a quick message for today. Don't be scared.